This is my last video from my bedroom on the second floor in the Kingston Castle. I am not moving very far, just a few blocks away to a really beautiful space, a really dreamy space for myself over in the Roundup, and you'll hear more about that soon. This video is about the gifts of living in this community, and it's an ode to the relationships that I've formed here, and it's a love letter to this last chapter of my life. It was difficult to tell my beloved friends here that I was going to be moving out, and I told them, oh, I'm going to make this video as soon as, I'm just going to make this video and then, you guys can use it and we can find like a great replacement for me for the room using the video. I didn't make the video until now, a month later. I'm moving out in a couple days, and they already replaced me in the room. And so I had to ask myself, this is a practice of mine, when I am avoiding something and it keeps getting punted to the next day, week, month on my to-do list, what are you avoiding and why? And I realized that I've been avoiding doing this. My avoidance of this has to do with my avoidance of and my fear of endings. I have historically been really bad at endings. I've done all sorts of weird stuff to try to kind of get out of them, which doesn't ever work. To try to kind of remove myself from the flow of life and from the changes that are coming. And so here I am facing my fear of endings and making this video. Making this video means that the chapter is closing. Telling a story means that there's already an ending to the story. And so I'm embracing that, and here we go. I'm really grateful to this room, which has been like a womb for me in all of my healing work over the past many months, and to the house itself, this fun, vibrant space with lots of activity going on and wonderful people going through. The container is really important, right? The space itself has been really, really important. Its placement in Kingston, New York, which I am very devoted to as a home, as a place to live, and I'm very committed to. All really important. But the most important thing, and the thing that I realized that I have the most sadness around, the most important thing is that I've been cohabitating with really wonderful people and developing really beautiful, exceptional, healthy relationships with them. And here's what I've learned living in a truly authentic community house. I have learned to move from control and separateness to trust and collaboration. Of course, this is still a work in progress, but I realized that when I am in fear, and I moved here in fear, I try to control things. And as soon as I got here, I realized you can't do that in a house with 7 other people. You're not in control. You wouldn't want to be in charge of every space in this house and in charge of every event that happens. And so that being forced really to kind of ungrasp from the controlling aspect of my living situation felt so good. I don't have to do all the work anymore when I'm not in control, right? And learning that in trusting relationships, I'm not in control, but I'm still respected. I'm still listened to. And watching us co-create things together that are just so much greater than the sum of our parts, and with so much less effort as individuals, right? Because everybody else is throwing in their effort. This is huge. This is huge. It's affected everything that I do and how I move around in the world. The next 2 lessons are really related to that. One is I've learned how to have needs and how to express them. I think in the past I saw my own needs as weakness, and so I would try to hide my weaknesses, right? Because I want to present myself as this great, whole, wonderful, attractive person. Um, but it's such a lie. It's such a falsehood, right, that I was trying to perpetuate. Here I've learned how important it is to have needs, right? Having needs means others can come and help you, that you can belong. And I have had to learn how to actually recognize my own needs and my own boundaries, and then to express them. And in the expressing of them, you'll start to learn if you're not actually really aware of them, things start to go wonky, and it's very vulnerable to express your needs. And the gift of having others model this for me, um, the gift of having others sit there patiently while I try to figure out what I need and express it to them, and not judge me as I share, to have that going on a daily basis has been so, so healing. And then related, I realized that one of my greatest needs when I moved in here that was very much unmet when I got here was the need to be needed. I think there's a couple things, one is if I felt like somebody was really needing a lot from me, then I'd feel kind of like put upon or something like that. And this is like I know it seems like a catch-22, and it was a catch-22. The other thing that was happening for me is in my last relationship, I was with somebody who's very independent and really saw himself as not needing me, not really needing me. And that feeling of not being needed ended up bringing me to a place at the end of the relationship where I didn't feel like I had value. Here, I feel like the entire time I've lived here, I've been seen. People are seeing my gifts, seeing what I have to offer, and asking for a little bit. And in asking for me and in needing from me, they reawoke in me the sense of my own value. It was that waking up early on that got me out of the deep, deep, deep depression I was in when I arrived here in May of 2019. It was seeing, Erin, you have so much to give, and the world needs it. So live and give. And that's what I've been doing. And the next chapter, you guys will hear about that really soon. The next chapter, the reason I'm moving is I'm moving into a space where I'm actually going to be able to share my gifts even more. And I've come to learn what those gifts really are, what my value really is here, and see it and see that it's precious, and to really desire to offer. I have come to learn this really, really cool thing, which is the universe gives us exactly what we need, exactly when we need it. This house has had a certain amount of flux in terms of who's lived here since I've moved in. And it's I know it's way more complicated than like what Erin needs at any given time. I know that the whole thing isn't orchestrated just for me. It's this beautiful, complex dance. But it has been true that everyone who's moved in has ended up showing me something about myself that I needed to see at that moment. Living in a community like this, it's like everybody is a mirror, for an aspect of me, because we're all so complicated. And so I need different mirrors, right, for the different aspects of myself. And every time that it's been time for someone to depart, that's also been a gift in a way, and then free space for the next character to come in with their offering. And it just makes me, early on in this experience, I was like, how? How does the universe do this? How does it do this thing where it just gives us the perfect complement to our community here in any moment? How is it that there's just been so much synchronicity, right? I'm having some kind of experience, and then I have a deep conversation with somebody else in the house, and it turns out they have a really similar thing going on. My needs are met perfectly by somebody else in the house, and their needs are met perfectly by me. How does the universe do that? Through all of this, I realized that, like, I kept trying to sort of by myself make myself perfect and whole, and thinking, okay, once I'm perfect and whole, then I'll get to have healthy relationships, then I'll get to have good partnerships, then I'll get to have this sense of family that I've always craved. But living here, I've learned it's a process. I am becoming perfect. I am discovering who I am, and stepping into that as we go through the relationships. And it's led me to the insight that friendship is everything. Friendship meaning really just any relationship with another human or an animal or with nature or a practice. I don't know. A friendship is any relationship where the two pieces say, hey, show up exactly as you are, and I accept you, and we'll exchange needs and gifts. And it's the most precious and beautiful thing in the world. Every single friendship I've had in this house is invaluable and has changed me for the better. And what's really cool is watching how a constellation of friendships, a support network, how powerful that is. When somebody in this house needs all of us around and all the different energies to support them, we can rally and do that and collaborate on that. I have a mirror for all these different parts of myself. I have different arms to hold me through different aspects of chapters of my life. I have different energies here to balance me depending on where I'm off. That constellation piece, that family piece that we've all been working with and healing is so profound. It's the most valuable thing in the world, friendship or relationship, amplified and diversified and harmonized. And it's amazing. And then the last piece I'm realizing now as I'm making the video is I think I'm learning how to do endings. Something that I have historically been really bad at. And it has to do with honoring the fact that the gratitude and the gifts of that come to us in endings are all wrapped up actually in the grief of endings. And I think I've been really avoiding the sadness of endings and the discomfort of endings, and I haven't known how to really honor the grief part. And so I've been trying to avoid it at all, and then not being able to really move forward with the gifts and the gratitudes. And so all of my endings and my transitions have felt so stark. It's like I cut off the past and I have to step forward into the future without any of what I had before, and it's lonely and it's hard. This is different. Thank you. Thank you, every single one of you. I am blown away by how much I have healed and grown, and how much more I understand about myself and the world since May 1st, 2019, when I moved in here. And it's because of you. You know who you are, all of you. Thank you. I feel you all walking forward with me.